This is the Raymond Carver Project, English 1101 online. So first, let's meet our author. Raymond Carver was born May 25th, 1938 in Oregon, and he died August 2nd, 1988 in Washington. He was an American short story writer and a poet whose realistic writings about the working poor mirrored his own life. Carver himself was the son of a sawmill worker. He married a year after finishing high school, and he had several jobs as janitor, gas station attendant, and delivery man. Mostly he worked so his family could survive. However, he did dream of being a writer, and he took a few creative writing courses at Chico State College, which is now California State University, in 1958. His short stories began to appear in magazines while he studied at Humboldt State College in California, and his first success as a writer came in 1967 with the story Will You Please Be Quiet? Please. I love that title. That's a great title. However, he began writing full-time after losing his job as a textbook editor in 1970. The success of Will You Please Be Quiet, Please established his reputation, and that happened in 1976. Sadly, Carver began drinking heavily in 1967 and was repeatedly hospitalized for alcoholism in the 70s. However, he continued to turn out short stories. After conquering his drinking problem in the late 70s, he taught for several years at the University of Texas at El Paso and at Syracuse University. And in 1983, he won a literary award whose generous annual stipend freed him to again concentrate on his writing full time. His later short story collections were What We Talk About When We Talk About Love, Cathedral, and Where I'm Calling From. While his short stories were what made his critical reputation, he was also an accomplished poet in the realist tradition of Robert Frost. His poetry collections include At Night the Salmon Move, which came out in 1976, Where Water Comes Together with Other Water in 1985, and Ultramarine in 1986. He died of lung cancer at age 50, which is a fairly young age to die. A lot of the themes in his short stories chronicle the everyday lives and problems of the working poor in the Pacific Northwest. His blue-collar characters are often crushed by broken marriages, financial problems, and failed careers. Also, they tend to be unable to understand or even articulate their own anguish, and so we see a lot of his characters struggle. Carver's stripped-down, minimalist prose style is remarkable for its honesty and its power. He is credited with helping revitalize the genre of the English-language short story, which at the time that he began writing was starting to diminish in popularity. So he brought it back to the masses. So, for your Raymond Carver project, the first thing you are going to do is you are going to read two versions of the same short story. You are going to read The Bath, and then you are going to read A Small Good Thing. I've entered some links for you. Here's a link for The Bath and A Small Good Thing. If these links do not work, just Google The Bath PDF, and you'll pull up 1,000. So if you have issues with these, just try another. I suggest that you read The Bath first and then read A Small Good Thing. Step 2, after you have read both stories, choose one of the topics below. First topic that you can choose is compare and contrast the development of character in The Bath and A Small Good Thing. The second topic you may choose is compare and contrast how Nelson/Franklin's family works into the theme of both The Bath and A Small Good Thing. At the moment, you don't know who Nelson/Franklin is, but you will after you read the story, and it's a very interesting character and how that dynamic changes between the two short stories. And then the last topic that you can choose is compare and contrast the endings of The Bath and A Small Good Thing. Both of these have different endings. I'm not going to spoil it. So, those are the topics that you can choose. Step 3. This paper you are going to choose to either write it in subject by subject or point-by-point outline, and it will be in MLA format. MLA format is typically the format that you write papers in high school. So I have a couple of links in your Blackboard shell, and we'll look at those in a minute. That'll kind of refresh your memory on what MLA format looks like. I'm going to require that you have at least 4 properly cited in-text citations for this paper. What that means is you are going to actually quote lines from the stories, and you are going to place them in your essay. At the end of this MLA paper, you will be required to have a properly formatted works cited page at the end, and we will look at this as well. I have given you a link in this Google Doc. You can cut and paste, but this is to the Purdue OWL website. And on this website, you also have some sample papers to look at as well. So let's come over here to the MLA Purdue OWL website. This is the link that you have. And if you will look here, this is what your paper should look like. This is the first page. You will have your name, my name, English 1101, and then the date that you have written your paper. You will notice MLA format requires that you have your last name and a page number. Here you have your title centered, and then you begin the body of your paragraph. So you'll have your paper here. You'll write, brilliant. Also, you'll notice this is a level 2 header. I don't require these, so don't worry about those guys. Just write normally. Just go through it. Notice that you still have your last name, page number as you go through. And then as we reach the end, you will see, also you won't have a notes section. Don't worry about that. You will notice that at the very end, you have a works cited page. I do require that you have a works cited page. You'll notice you still have last name, page number, you have works cited centered, and then you will begin. You will only have 2 entries on your works cited page. You will have Carver, Raymond, the bath, and then you will have Carver, Raymond, a small good thing. So you will only have 2 on this works cited page. Let's see if we can find in-text citations. In-text citations are basically where you quote a source in a book. So, for example, our citation is Wordsworth, William, so lyrical ballads. So we have a book called Lyrical Ballads written by William Wordsworth. We have the publication city and then the publication date. Now this citation is what is going to go onto your works cited page. However, when you quote Wordsworth from Lyrical Ballads in your paper, you are actually going to handle it like this. There are 2 ways that you can do this. For an in-text citation, you must give your reader 2 bits of information. I must have the last name of the author and then the page number on which you took your quote. So, here's one example. You can use the last name of your author as a signal phrase. You can say Wordsworth stated that romantic poetry was marked by, and then here, this is my direct quote. This is what Wordsworth said, spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings. You will notice that I will end quote here. I will give the page number that this quote came from, and then I will place my period here. My period will not go within my quotation marks. My period goes on the outside. Now, if I do not use the name of the author in my signal phrase, then I must put it in the in-text citation. Romantic poetry is characterized by the spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings. Notice there is not a period here, but the period lives after the in-text citation because the in-text citation becomes part of the sentence. So you will have 2 in-text citations from the bath and at least 2 in-text citations from a small good thing. So that's how you handle in-text citations. You will notice, let me pull up I have so many tabs open, that you have links. You have the sample paper here, and then you also have the in-text citation. I gave you a couple of examples here, and then you also have your works cited example. So I think that covers it. If you have any questions, please email me. I'm here to help you in any way that I possibly can. Okay? All right.